You can drink, just don't go ham.
Reviews. The Orville New Horizons Season 3 Episode 7 review from Unknown Graves. For the second episode in a row, the Orville New Horizons prioritizes substance over spectacle in the touching and intimate episode about love, acceptance, and forgiveness. This review of the Orville New Horizons contains spoilers. The Orville New Horizons Season 3 Episode 7. Creator and showrunner Seth MacFarlane is seizing every opportunity with the third season of The Orville. This Hulu streaming renaissance has already proved itself to be the show's most mature, poignant, and character-driven season to date. One needs to look no further than the title of this episode to see one of its central messages. From Unknown Graves is a line from The Witnesses, a poem written in the 19th century by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, which outlines the crimes committed in America against slaves. The central story, as there are many threads within this episode, opens on a gray alien suburban street. There are two children who are excited when they spot their father's car pulling into the driveway, asking if he finally brought some coveted gift home to them. The father pushes a large crate in through the front door and asks the kids to step back so he can open it. The contents of the crate are revealed to be a dormant Kaylin. Throughout the episode, writer David A. Goodman unveils a series of these vignettes where the family and the Kaylin, Graham Hamilton, referred to as K1, interact. Each interlude, we see the family become more and more horrible to the then peaceful Kaylin, at first simply being rude to the indentured, laboring artificial intelligence, and eventually abusing him. These specific anecdotes paint a more complete picture of the history of the Kaylin and the builders, the biological species that created the Kaylin, who fans of the Orville know will eventually be wiped out by their creation. The flashbacks add context to the discovery of a peaceful and fully emotional Kaylin named Timus Christopher Larkin. While Commander Grayson, Adrian Palicki, and Lieutenant Piali, Jessica Shore, are on the ship trying to convince a matriarchal species to join the Union, Captain Mercer, McFarland, Fortis, Peter Macon, Malloy, Scott Grimes, and Burke and Winters fly down to the surface of Sxsmjmv, an allegedly abandoned planet, or so the crew thinks. There, they discover Timus and immediately raise their weapons. But they're greeted by a friendly and more human-sounding artificial being with not a touch of hostility. Naturally, the Orville crew don't trust Timus, but he is soon joined by Dr. Vilka Eliza Taylor, who explains that she and her father, both renowned cyberneticists, found Timus after a battle with the Union. They decided to revive the barely functioning Kaylin, and in modifying his pain receptors were able to infuse him with a full spectrum of emotions. The episode's script is arguably one of the most dense stories in the show's 33 episodes so far. There is a lot going on, including the crew's ruse to make the matriarchal Scythians believe the Union also treats males like second-class citizens. A subplot that points back to the incompatible sex life and relationship troubles of Lamar, Jay Lee, and Kiali, and Burke's continued mistrust of the Kaylins. Meanwhile, the central plot about the history of the Kaylin and Timus evolution culminates with Isaac Mark Jackson having to make a life-altering decision in regards to whether or not he will have the procedure that will give him that same full spectrum of emotions, and what it may mean to Dr. Finn, Penny Johnson Gerald. While hesitant at first, Isaac does in fact go through with the procedure, which leads to one of the sweetest moments in the show. Mark Jackson does not receive enough praise for his performance as Isaac. Having to portray a character devoid of emotion while still making him relatable is quite a feat. Granted, it is a Star Trek staple of sorts, as most iterations of that franchise have included a Spock or a Data-like character within the crew to explore the intricacies of human behavior, and Isaac is clearly inspired by those classic characters. But Jackson has also had to convey this affability while completely faceless. The costume for Isaac only gives the actor the ability to convey subtlety through his voice, which often doesn't modulate, or his body language, and still, the friendly Kaylin is a fan favorite. As the emotional levee breaks, Jackson gives a tremendous performance. The outbreak of real emotion begins with just a subtle smile from Jackson, which pulls viewers in, and as more emotions come flooding out, it all seems completely believable in terms of what Isaac could have had bottled up inside of him all along. relationship between Isaac and Claire has been building for 2 seasons now, and audiences finally get to see both of them happy and confess their love for each other. Next off, English 360p 720p HD 1080p HD Auto 360p about kxb 173372 about kxb 173372 null. Yet, we should have recognized a continuing thread throughout this season. In yet another heartbreaking moment, no sooner had Isaac confessed his love when he lost the emotional connection. Dr. Vilka, Timus, and Lamar surmise that it is because Timus was of the original generation of Kaylin, created by the Builders, and Isaac was of a later generation created by fellow Kaylin, and so their artificial brain chemistry is different. They could make the fix more permanent, but only at the cost of Isaac's entire memory. You could easily question the convenient science, but whatever the reason, it makes such a heartfelt scene between Isaac and Claire suddenly agonizing. Granted, the important thing is they got that brief moment, even if it was all too brief. Get the best of Den of Geek delivered right to your inbox. This heart-wrenching emotional journey is nothing new to the beloved space explorers. In the last episode, Twice in a Lifetime, Malloy had his wife and kids ripped away from him in the name of temporal continuity. In that same episode, Burke confessed to Isaac that her best friend Amanda, who was killed in the battle with the Kaylin, was in fact also the woman she desperately loved. And while some fans might have been happy to see Boris made Kylvin leave him, it also means their daughter Topa lost a father. From Unknown Graves continues this thread not only with Claire and Isaac's loss, but the incompatibility of Hella and John despite their feelings for one another. Almost the entire crew this season has lost someone close to them, possibly a subtextual comment about the politically dichotomous world we live in today and the relationships we can't reconcile. Or perhaps in reference to those whom we have lost to the pandemic. This loaded script at times is a disservice to the overall episode. John and Tala's relationship, even while not entirely the focus of this specific episode, felt unbelievably rushed. In 3 episodes, they had one 5-minute flirtation, a make-out session, and by the 3rd episode, they're talking about how much they love one another. Since so many are fans of both these characters, it would have been nice to explore the relationship a bit more, and here's hoping that this story thread is not actually finished. McFarlane's direction, however, showed a reserved maturity. He got some tremendously impactful performances out of almost the entire cast. That certainly speaks to the respect and trust between McFarlane and his castmates. The character-driven episode can also appear very stoic in terms of how the director utilizes the camera, but one notable aspect of this episode is how often McFarlane used a point-of-view perspective. This puts the audience in the shoes of the characters in a few key instances, which in turn helps us empathize with the situation. It's no coincidence the principal moral of the episode is clearly about empathy. Isaac shows sorrow for the incidental coldness he has shown Claire and her sons. Burke can finally relate to the Kaylin and Isaac a little more after hearing Timus tell the story of their servitude and abuse. And the political subplot of finding common ground with those who have completely different ideals than we might, all of these threads support that theme. From Unknown Graves is a compelling episode which contains critical lessons that we should all listen to in life by rewritten by Michael Wynne Johnson, a real school teacher and entertainment journalist based out of Toronto. Michael can talk forever about film, television, and animation, and how often Toronto sports teams have made him. Read more from Michael Wynne Johnson.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 3 Review Ghosts of Illyria.
Memento Mori Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode.